My best friend who loves staying at ryokan once accidentally stayed at a super aged one. And she said that she enjoyed the bath together with the bugs that gathered near the light bulbs. 皆さんこんにちは and welcome to Let's Ask Shogo. Out of the many things you can do in Japan, staying at a ryokan must be something that many of you are looking forward to do. However, what is your image of a ryokan? If your answer is a Japanese-style hotel, that isn't wrong, but it isn't a sufficient answer either. So today, I would like to explain about the definition of a ryokan and the three main differences between a ryokan and a hotel in Japan. Also, at the end of the video, I will give you some advice on how to choose the perfect ryokan for you. By watching this video, you'll be able to select your perfect stay during your trip in Japan and remember your ryokan experience even more. And even if you get confused somewhere during the middle, that's okay. I will summarize everything at the end of the video in today's conclusion. それでは本日は旅館に泊まって参りましょう。Then, let's jump into today's main topic right away by talking about the three main differences between a ryokan and a Japanese hotel. 1. The definition according to the law. 2. How you spend your time during your stay. 3. What's valued most. 1. The definition according to the law. According to the ryokan business law in Japan, the definition of a ryokan and hotel were: ryokan, the number of guest rooms must be 5 or more. The floor area of one room must be 7 square meters or larger. Hotel, the number of guest rooms must be 10 or more. The floor area of one room must be 9 square meters or larger. So simply said, the differences were the number and size of rooms. However, in 2018, these laws changed due to the sudden increase in the number of hotels, almost doubling within 2 years. This was because the number of foreign tourists in Japan has been spiking up since 2016. More and more companies tried to create creative and unique ryokan and hotels to entertain their guests. And the borderline between the two became more and more ambiguous. So the ryokan business law today defines ryokan, facilities that mainly have Japanese-style structures and equipment. Hotel, facilities that mainly have Western-style structures and equipment. Wait, is that it? Yes, by law, the only difference is whether the facility is Japanese style or Western style. Well, Shogo, thank you so much for this video. I gotta get going. Wait. The laws might have changed, but there are still many differences that are interesting to learn about for you to choose the perfect stay when you visit Japan. 2. How you spend your time during your stay. Western style and Japanese style might seem simple when you say it in words, but there are actually quite a lot of differences in how you spend your time during your stay. 1. Shoes. 2. Clothing. 3. Meals and beds. At a hotel, you would usually wear shoes or slippers inside the room unless you're on your bed. On the other hand, at a ryokan, you must remove your shoes when you walk indoors. The point when you take off your shoes differs depending on the ryokan, whether it's before the reception or at the entrance of each room. The reason why you must remove your shoes is because the Japanese-style ryokan usually has the traditional tatami floorings. Tatami floorings are made by knitting together natural straw that can be easily damaged by shoes and slippers and cannot be washed if it gets dirty. By the way, in some of my past videos, I've explained that you should wear socks to prevent the tatami mats from getting dirty. That would of course be much more polite to the ryokan, but it's not someone's house, so you don't have to mind that much. Next, the clothes you wear are a little different too. At a hotel, walking outside your room in your pajamas and slippers are considered inappropriate. However, a ryokan is considered a large house where everyone spends time together. So at most ryokan, you're allowed to walk outside a room and inside the building, with the provided yukata, which are casual kimono considered as bathrobes or pajamas. It's completely fine for you to stay in your yukata after taking a bath or eating at a restaurant inside the ryokan. Or in other words, you might stand out a little if you're not. The meals and beds are different too. At a hotel, plans with breakfast only or no meals at all are common. However, at a ryokan, the meal is a very important part of enjoyment of staying. So a night stay would usually come together with a dinner and a breakfast the next day. Your meal could be provided at a restaurant inside a ryokan, but the staff could come and set it up in your room too. Also, ryokan have rooms with tatami floorings, so you'll be sleeping on the floor over a futon, which again the staff will come and lay out for you. 3. What's valued most? What's most important for hotels and ryokan are very different, and you can see it by the different customs and how they are designed. The top priority of a hotel is privacy and security. Originally, the hotel functioned as a place for national diplomacy and exchanges between foreigners and local residents. Since many people would come and go, privacy protection and security measures were emphasized. Most hotels in Japan too have soundproof walls and windows to prevent the outside of the room from being heard, and auto-lock doors. The staff keep a modest distance and put peace of mind and comfort first. On the other hand, the top priority of a ryokan is hospitality. In order to understand why omotenashi hospitality is so important for a ryokan, we need to take a look at its history. The traveling culture especially bloomed during the Edo period, when the society became more stable after the war eras. The system of staying at a high-quality ryokan was not to directly reserve one yourself, but to ask the landlady to arrange everything for you. It's just like you're contracting with a travel agent and not directly with the facilities you're going to stay at or visit. So the idea of staying at a ryokan was not choosing which ryokan to stay at, but more of which landlady you trust, meaning you are contracting with the person and not with the facility. In order for the landlady to receive more jobs, she needed to organize the perfect stay for each individual guest. And this is how the hospitality culture was born. They would reserve the perfect ryokan, prepare food and drinks for each person's preference, and sometimes even sew a yukata just for that person. However, this ryokan system started to change after the period of high economic growth from 1955 to 1972, when traveling became more common and many people started to travel in groups. The ryokan could not continue the individual hospitality system anymore. Today, at most ryokan, they provide uniformed hospitality, but still carry on the culture that omotenashi should be the top priority. So you can understand why the hotels focus more on functionality and the convenient stay there. Ryokan was more of a comprehensive leisure facility for healing and vacations. Which means if you're on a business trip, for example, you usually wouldn't stay at a ryokan, but at a hotel. So, to make a long story short, the pros and cons of a ryokan and a hotel are: Hotel. 1. You're free to decide when and where you want to have your meal. 2. You don't have to meet any strangers during your stay. 3. The equipment are suitable for longer stays. Ryokan. 1. You can experience the traditional culture through the building, tatami mats, and futon. 2. You can enjoy food and onsen within the building, so you don't have to search for nearby facilities. 3. The staff wearing kimono preparing the food and futon for you makes you feel like a king and queen. Which would you want to stay at when you come to Japan, and why? Please let me know in the comments. I'm sure you've already opened 20 tabs and are looking for a place to stay in Japan. But before we end, let me give you 3 pieces of advice on how to choose the perfect ryokan for you. This is the most important part of this video for those of you who have future plans on coming to Japan. 1. Decide depending on the purpose of your trip. 2. Check the menu of the meal and where you eat. 3. Check the renewal information and reviews. 1. Decide depending on the purpose of your trip. There are hundreds and thousands of ryokan in Japan, and they each have their strengths and characteristics. Depending on the purpose of your trip, what you look out for when you search for ryokan should change. Is it the food that you are looking forward to the most? The healing from the onsen hot springs? Or is it the luxuriousness of the building and the room itself? Also, who you're going to be traveling with is going to change. What kind of ryokan you want to be staying at too. Whether it's a family trip or a couple's trip. You don't want to accidentally choose a ryokan meant for families on your honeymoon, right? By taking a look at their websites, you can easily understand who their target guests are. So please be sure to check it to meet your needs. 2. Check the menu of the meal and where you eat. Regardless of what the biggest appeal point of that ryokan is, the meal is always an important part of the stay. If you stay at a ryokan near the ocean, they would often have more seafood-based courses and meals. On the other hand, if the ryokan is located in the mountains, they would use more of the fresh vegetables and plants that grow nearby. Next, where you eat inside the ryokan is very important too. As I've briefly explained earlier, there are mainly 3 places where you can eat inside a ryokan. 1. Your own room. You don't have to move and can enjoy your privacy. Recommended especially to couples. 2. Private dining rooms. A private room to eat your meal outside the room you're staying in. Recommended to people who don't want the residual scent of food in the room. 3. Public dining restaurants. A restaurant inside the ryokan, recommended for those who want to enjoy meals in a lively atmosphere. I have personally experienced all 3 of these before, but I think they all have their charms, and it's impossible to decide which one is the best. 3. Check the renewal information and reviews. Some ryokan buildings have centuries of history, and it is a wonderful way to really feel the traditional atmosphere with your skin. However, some of these ryokan could be really aged, and you might suffer from nearby noises, insect outbreaks, and unclean rooms and water areas. No matter how beautiful the photos are on the internet, the current situation could be very different. My best friend, who loves staying at ryokan, once accidentally stayed at a super aged one. And she said that she enjoyed the bath together with the bugs that gathered near the light bulbs. To avoid such a pleasant experience like my friend did, look out for renewal information and reviews about the cleanness. Even if it's a very old ryokan, if it has been recently renovated, it could be clean and hygienic. And you can also check the reviews to confirm it. Then lastly, today's conclusion. The 3 main differences between ryokan and hotel are: 1. The definition according to the law. 2. How you spend your time during your stay. 3. What's valued most. The ryokan business law in Japan says that the difference between the 2 are just whether they are a Japanese style or Western style. However, this does mean that how you spend your time during your stay, like if you wear your shoes inside the room or not, if you're allowed to walk in yukata and slippers outside or not, and the meals and beds are all different. Because ryokan and hotels have very different historical backgrounds, they have different priorities as a place to stay. The top priority of a hotel is privacy protection and security, and the top priority of a ryokan is hospitality. My advice on how to choose the right ryokan for you are: 1. Decide depending on the purpose of your trip. 2. check the menu of the meal and where you eat. 3. Check the renewal information and reviews. That's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you thought this video was useful information before coming to Japan, please hit the like button to help me boost this video to more people. And my goal is to achieve 1 million subscribers by January 2023, so your help will mean a lot. In this channel, you can take a closer look at Japanese traditional culture, tips on traveling to Kyoto, and social problems in Japan. So learners and lovers of Japanese language and culture, be sure to subscribe to enjoy more content. And please check out our sub-channel and membership through the link inside the description box. Thanks again, and I'll see you in my next video. どうもありがとうございました。I had someone asking me once what ryokan means. Yes. And it's very easy to remember. If you remember ryo, the first kanji character is read tabi, by the way, too. Tabi means to travel. And kan, it means a building or a house or a mansion and such. So it's actually literally ryokan is travel house, actually, or travel building, you could say. So it literally means a place that you stay at when you travel. Yes. And I don't know how you enjoy traveling, yes, but I'm really more of an indoor guy, just an indoor person. So even when I go on vacations, yes, like when I was younger, when we didn't have our kids yet, it was just my wife and I, Harumi and I, we would go on vacations once in a while. You know, we do want to go on vacations, but what we do is we go somewhere far away and we stay at a ryokan for the whole day and do nothing. Yes. We were that kind of people. How about you? I would love to know if you've done this before too. We've basically done this every time we traveled.